Working on some 288 cases today. Uh-oh, hang on just a second. Technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, 288 cases. Powdered by Glock 37. So go to OPE Forum, look up Glock 37, and he does powder. So, yeah. Cool. So these are two Husqvarna 288 cases, and he powdered them for me, and these are going to Luke. Luke wanted a set of cases, so let's get him a set of cases. Anybody else wants a set of cases, they let me know. These are not cheap, but you can't get them anymore. Cannot get them. So there is that. So I'll bring you up here. We're just going to do a quick live today. This is not going to take that long. Let's see. Whole lot of fun to join live, so if you guys get the chance, please join live. Whole lot more fun than not being live. I try to pick up comments and whatnot, so we'll do that. Okay, so what have we done? These cases are essentially ready for bearings. We got these pretty well cleaned up after powder. The holes are chased. These are flat on the flat block. Sanded flat, or rather a flat piece of granite. And now, I mean, all the bolt holes look good in these. So, nice cases. I've got the oiler temporarily installed just so I can position the actual, the bearings reasonably. Now we need, we're going to put these bearings in hot. They should just drop right in if I heat this up appropriately. And my powder is baked on, so I don't think it's really that big of a deal to put some heat to this. So let's put some heat to this and get some bearings in. Everything's clean, flat. This will be ready to go. Again, if anybody wants a set of cases, I will have more coming, but just to let everybody know, they are not cheap. Getting all this stuff get done, getting cases repaired, finding cases. It takes time. Shipping back and forth to these guys. So if anybody's interested in having their cases powdered, they can contact Glock 37 on OPEforum.com. GLOCK 37 at OPEforum.com. So these are Nachi 6202s. We've got brand new OEM bar bolts in there also that I put in there. Five people here. Who's here? How are we looking today? Are we sounding okay? Looking okay? Again, brand new 6203 bearings. Nachi 6203s. These are nice bearings. I'm just going to heat them up, or heat the cases up and drop these right in. These have not been frozen or anything. You can freeze bearings, but you can also pull these in cold. I've showed that 1,000 times. Jamie O'Hara, good morning. Sound is good? Great. And if anybody has any questions or comments or anything like that, just let me know. Just shout them out. So I'm going to heat this up. This is already kind of cleaned up and ready to go for seals also. So I'm not going to put the seals in. I'm going to let Luke do that. Morning, Harry. So that's a MAP gas torch. I really want somewhere around 300. And it'll just drop right in. $80, almost. That should do it. There's your bearing. That's one. Seal is still installed in there, which pop that out real fast. This is just a parts oiler. Bar bolts just gotta be pulled down. Perfect. So, yeah, the bar bolts are just held in there gentle. Nothing crazy. Could put a little bit of anaerobic on there. Like bearing retention compound or JB. Well, maybe JB. I'll put a little bit of JB on the bar bolts just to hold them a little tighter. Steel FG2, no. $230, almost. This takes a little bit longer to heat up because there's more metal here and because the oiler is in here. Again, you don't want to put the oiler in if you've got any rubber parts in that oiler. You can wreck things. This is just a parts oiler, really just to help. 290, good enough. A little further. little piece of powder in the way. I was going to do this hot, but may have to pull it in. Again, not hitting the inner race. If there's a tiny piece of powder in there, then it's not going to quite do what we want to. Okay. No worries. We'll just pull it the rest of the way with this guy. Of course, this is all very hot. Just 1/2 inch threaded rod. Let's go the other way here. Little crooked, no harm in backing this off. Hear it as soon as it straightens up. You hear that click. Much easier. Much better, rather. Half-inch threaded rod, nuts and washers. Simple. Keep it simple. Feel it. Okay, nice and smooth. Perfect. That's it. Now the bearings are installed. We'll need this for a bit, hopefully. The bolt holes are fine, but you want to, if you want to make them stick, a little bit of JB Weld helps. And when I get the bar bolts done, of course, before you put the cases together. It's a whole lot easier anyway. Again, this is for Luke. This set of cases is for Luke. Done by Glock37 over at OPEforum.com. OEM bar bolts. Just a thin layer JB. Just to make darn sure they're stable. If you got walled holes, then you need a machine, you know, re-welded and re-machined. But these aren't wallowed. Just want them to be a little bit more stable. Beauty. Take care, Harry. Thanks for coming by. Yep, that's about as stable as those will get. Brand new OEM bar bolts. All right, what's next? Gotta get these case halves together. Got a nice cleaned up crank. Crank's in good shape. Touch it with just a little bit of Scotch Brite here. Nice and clean, smooth. Look at that. Nice and clean. Good, good. Oiled and lubed. We're going to lube this good too. Goes right in there. Now we got the rods, so if anybody's interested in a toolkit, they can let me know. We're gonna do the toolkit here, demonstrate it. Got a yellow rod here. This is good for most steels actually, and some of the bigger Huskies, 394, 395, 288 on the PTO side. You thread it down loosey-goosey, doesn't have to be tight. And you can have the oiler on if you want. I can leave it on for now, it really won't matter. Let me get a sleeve, nut and washer. So a large sleeve, and we're going to use a large handle. Back it off. Doesn't, again, loosey-goosey, not tight. All this does is it puts pressure only on the inner race of the bearing and pulls the crank through the inner race, so there's no lateral forces on the bearing at all while you're doing this. There's no risk to the bearing. And crank it down. In this case, you don't have to wait, heat something up and cool something down or whatever. It just goes nice and smooth. That's it. Done. Back it off. Take it all apart. So again, if anybody's interested in this toolkit, they can contact me. I do sell them. I've got about 400, maybe closing in on 500 kits sold worldwide at this point. Sent a kit to Ireland the other day. That was pretty cool. All right. So clean, degreased. Now do our 1184. If you want to use goop, you can use goop. If you don't want to use goop, you don't use goop. You get reasonably flat cases, then you don't really need goop. But this is, again, 3 bonds 1184. Is gas and oil resistant, which a lot of caulks are not. Like RTV Gray is not. I typically do this particular side first. Flywheel side first. I want it to tack for a little bit while I'm doing the other side, clutch side. You don't need it back here because that's not sealing anything per se. Okay. For this particular build, I'm going to use an OEM gasket kit. I do like the Highway gasket kit because it also comes with the seals. I think those seals are fine, but for this particular build, I'm going to use the OEM. Genuine parts. And Luke is going to get the rest of the seals in here too, of course. Makes sense. So now, positioning pins, very important. There we go. Now, one more thing. I'm not going to Loctite the bolts to the front because those need to come off later because of the dog, whoever's putting the dog on. But I will Loctite these. I'm up to 10,000, Tim. That's wonderful. I didn't even notice. I'm so busy. I'm sorry, guys. So busy. There you have it. So what are we going to do to celebrate? I guess work with powdered cases, finally. So this is M10 by 1.0 right hand. And for this we are going to use the large sleeve, not the small sleeve, even though the small sleeve fits on here. It's a little sloppy, but that's okay. If you feel bad about the slop, you just put 10 turns of electrical tape around here and then you're good. But it's really not a big deal. Small handle. Again, loosey-goosey. .5/8 nut and washer. And a big benefit to using this setup here is that you can use, instead of an open-ended wrench, you can actually use a ratchet. You have to talk to Glock on that. It depends on the cases, all that stuff. And it's not, I mean, I think the cost on the powder coat is actually fairly reasonable. The problem is the shipping back and forth and all that stuff starts to eat into your costs in a hurry. Okay, make sure the positioning pins are in. Plus, if you need anything like repair work or whatever, then there's that, and you know, that needs to be considered as well. So Mike and I have other stuff going, so I know there's going to be a bill here. I just don't have it yet, so I can't really speak to that. But it's much easier for you guys to contact him and say, okay, you know, what would powder coating a particular set of cases run? And it really does depend significantly. Done. It really does depend significantly on the you know, what saw, how dirty it is, whether it needs repair or not. Because if you got to send the mag cases out for repair, then that's a whole other ball game too. You know. So now, put some bolts in. So the anterior case bolts here are actually 55 millimeter. Yeah, there's a lot of prep work that goes into this. So just something to consider there. It's just a lot of prep work. So if you find somebody that can do all the prep work and blast it and boil it, and because they got to do all kinds of crazy stuff to get all the oils out, otherwise the powder coat don't stick. And chainsaw is notoriously bad for that because it's so oily. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is just a parts oiler, so that's not going with the saw. 35 millimeter case bolts. 1, 2. Let's see. I've got a few here. That doesn't go with it. Three, 4 on the one to the back, which I think is 16 millimeter. Go around by hand. Make sure you're good. Oh yeah. That's going to be just fine. Take a knife. Make a nice even slice. Take your tab off. Beautiful. I can double check. Luke, this case is done, ready for you. Tap this oil tank vent in just a little further. There we go. It's a pretty set of cases. I have to look into what this cost, but it's not cheap. So I will have another set. If anybody's interested, they can email me if they want a set. And this, hopefully, I'll have a few one of these days, because I've got some more coming that are being repaired, and then they will be off to powder again. And anybody can shoot me an email, and yeah. Hello.
Matthew,
Yes.
this is Cliff at Somerset.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm okay, and I'm actually live on YouTube right this second. Can I call you right back?
Oh, sure.
I
Yeah, all right.
it,
I'll call you in a little bit.
Uh,
Nobody answered.
is this the number to call?
Yeah, this is actually shopping. Nobody's in the office on Friday.
Okay.
I'll call you back in like a half hour.
I'm actually headed out for a bit. Shoot me a text with your number, and we'll get in touch later today. I'm around.
All right.
Thanks. Yep.
Bye.
Bye. So yeah, if anybody, sorry about that. If anybody is interested in more cases, they can shoot me an email. Let me know. Um, so yeah, that's about as good as it gets. The one thing about this case, about the older cases, they don't have. There's a hole here for that little nub that the clutch cover goes into. You just chop off the nub on your clutch cover, and you don't need it. But some of the older cases don't have it. But even look at that. Even with the damage that was there, the powder just fills it right in. It's beautiful. Nice solid case. This will be good. So anyway, hope you guys like it. Hope I hope Luke likes it. And guys, I will catch you later. I gotta run. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.